March 8, 2014, began as an ordinary night with the city of Kuala Lumpur bathed in the quiet glow of midnight. Few could have imagined that this night would soon become one of the most infamous dates in aviation history. At Kuala Lumpur International Airport, travelers bustled through the terminal, some saying hurried goodbyes, others excited for the journey ahead. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, a Boeing 777, was scheduled for a routine overnight trip to Beijing. On board were 239 people, passengers and crew from 14 different countries, each with their own stories, dreams, and destinations. The plane took off at 12:41 a.m., its engines roaring as it climbed smoothly into the night sky, leaving the city lights behind and heading north, over the South China Sea. For the first 38 minutes, everything was routine. Pilots checked in with air traffic control, passengers settled into their seats, and the aircraft followed its planned path. There was no hint of trouble, just the quiet hum of a typical red-eye flight. But then, without warning, the peace shattered. Communication with the plane abruptly ceased, and the aircraft veered off course, slipping silently away from radar screens. MH370 would never reach Beijing, or any known destination. The world was left with only questions and a chilling absence. The aircraft vanished from radar, leaving no distress call, no explanation, and no trace. It was as if the plane had simply dissolved into the night. The world awoke to the shocking news. A massive jet had simply disappeared. News outlets scrambled for answers and speculation ran wild. The disappearance became a global obsession, sparking the largest and most expensive search in aviation history. It challenged our faith in technology, radar, and the very systems designed to keep us safe in the skies. For the families, it marked the start of an agonizing wait for answers, a wait that has stretched for years, filled with hope, heartbreak, and endless uncertainty. MH370's story is one of sudden silence, a flight that slipped from the known world into enduring mystery, leaving behind a legacy of unanswered questions and a search that continues to this day. The last radio contact from MH370 was routine, almost mundane, a simple exchange between the cockpit and air traffic control, just as thousands of flights do every day. There was no hint of trouble, no sign of distress, just the calm professionalism of a crew nearing the edge of Malaysian airspace. "Good night, Malaysian 370. Those were the final words heard from the cockpit, a phrase that would soon become hauntingly significant. Minutes later, at 1:21 a.m., the plane's transponder was switched off, erasing it from civilian radar screens. In an instant, MH370 vanished from the view of those tasked with keeping it safe. Air traffic controllers tried repeatedly to reach the flight, their voices growing more urgent with each unanswered call. But only silence answered, deepening the sense of unease in the control tower. Unbeknownst to the public, military radar still tracked the plane as it made a sharp, deliberate turn west, flying back across the Malaysian peninsula. This was not a random deviation, it was a calculated maneuver. The turn required a skilled pilot, someone intimately familiar with the aircraft's systems and the region's airspace. It was likely intentional, suggesting a new, mysterious purpose for the flight. The aircraft crossed the Malay Peninsula, possibly skirting radar coverage, and headed out over the dark waters of the Andaman Sea. Its path suggested careful planning, as if someone was trying to avoid detection. At 2:22 a.m., the last military radar contact placed MH370 over open ocean, 200 nautical miles northwest of Penang. After that, the plane was truly alone, beyond the reach of any radar. With no more signals, the aircraft slipped into the vast darkness, its destination and purpose unknown. The world would not hear from it again. The flight had become a ghost, flying silently into the night, carrying with it 239 souls and a growing mystery that would haunt the world. The world was left with a chilling question. Who was in control of MH370, and what could have driven them to take such a sudden, fateful turn into the unknown? Even after vanishing from radar, MH370's satellite system sent out hourly handshakes to a satellite. These pings didn't reveal the plane's exact location, but they proved it was still flying for hours. Analysis of the signals traced two possible arcs, one north, one south. The northern route was unlikely, too many countries' radars to evade. Investigators focused on the southern arc, deep in the Indian Ocean. The final handshake came at 8:19 a.m., over 7 hours after takeoff. The evidence pointed to a grim conclusion. The plane flew south until it ran out of fuel and crashed into the sea. MH370's final journey was a silent, lonely flight into one of the world's most remote oceans. Once the southern Indian Ocean became the focus, the largest and most complex search in aviation history began. The disappearance of MH370 triggered an unprecedented international response, with experts and volunteers from around the globe uniting in a desperate effort to solve the mystery. Dozens of countries sent ships and planes, but the search area was vast and treacherous, stretching across some of the most remote and inhospitable waters on Earth. Coordinating such a massive operation required extraordinary resources and cooperation. The ocean's depths and brutal weather made the hunt nearly impossible. Towering waves, unpredictable storms, and the sheer scale of the search zone challenged even the most advanced technology and experienced crews. Weeks of surface searches found nothing. Every lead was a false alarm. Hopes would rise with each new sighting, only to be dashed as debris turned out to be unrelated or simply vanished in the endless blue. The search shifted underwater, using advanced sonar and autonomous vehicles to scan 46,000 square miles of rugged seafloor. The technology was cutting edge, but the ocean's depths hid its secrets well, making every pass a painstaking process. Years passed, and $200 million was spent, but no wreckage or black boxes were found. The search became one of the most expensive and exhaustive in history, testing the limits of human endurance and technology. In 2017, the official search was suspended, leaving families devastated and the world still searching for closure. The pain of not knowing lingered, as loved ones clung to hope and demanded answers. Private searches like those by Ocean Infinity continued but also came up empty. Despite renewed efforts and new technology, the ocean refused to give up its secrets. As of November 2025, the main wreckage of MH370 remains lost. The disappearance stands as one of the greatest mysteries in modern aviation, haunting investigators and families alike. The ocean has kept its secret, swallowing the evidence whole. Its vastness and depth have proven to be an impenetrable barrier to the truth. The world is left searching for answers in the deep, where hope and mystery drift together on the endless waves. While the main wreckage remains missing, pieces of MH370 have washed ashore. The first, a flaperon, was found on Reunion Island in July 2015, proof the plane crashed in the Indian Ocean. Over 30 suspected debris pieces have since been found on African coasts and Indian Ocean islands. 3 have been confirmed as parts of MH370. The debris suggests a high-speed, uncontrolled crash, not a gentle landing. These fragments offer clues, but not answers. Without the black boxes, the full story remains hidden. Each piece is a painful reminder of the tragedy and the mystery that endures. MH370 was more than a mystery, it was a human tragedy. On board were 239 people from over a dozen countries, families, artists, business people, and crew. The captain, Zahari Ahmad Shah, was a veteran pilot. His co-pilot, Farik Abdul Hamid, was on his final training flight. Early suspicions about passengers with stolen passports proved unfounded. For families, the disappearance brought unbearable uncertainty. No crash site, no bodies, no closure. Many have spent years in limbo, unable to grieve or move on. Their resilience is remarkable. They've formed support groups, pushed for continued searches, and become experts in the case. They endure false hopes and official silence, refusing to let the world forget. For them, MH370 is not just a puzzle, it's a story of stolen lives and endless questions. Their pain is a constant reminder of what's truly at stake. With no black boxes, theories about MH370 abound. The most accepted deliberate human intervention, someone on board intentionally diverted the plane. Hijacking is possible, but no group claimed responsibility and no demands were made. Catastrophic failure or fire has been suggested, but doesn't explain the precise turn or hours of flight. Some speculate about remote cyber hijacking or secret military action, but evidence is lacking. Each theory tries to fill the void left by missing data. Without wreckage or recorders, all remain unproven. The mystery is fertile ground for speculation. Every answer raises new questions. Until the truth is found, all possibilities remain on the table. Intense scrutiny fell on Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah. Investigators found a home flight simulator with a route similar to MH370's final path. Some saw this as evidence of a premeditated act. Others called it coincidence. The pilot's suicide theory fits the facts. Deliberate course change, no communication, remote crash site. But there's no clear motive, and Zahari's family insists he was stable and devoted. Without the cockpit voice recorder, we may never know what happened in those final hours. Theories persist, but the truth remains elusive. Captain Zahari is at the heart of the mystery, hero, victim, or perpetrator. We may never know. More than a decade later, MH370's fate remains unsolved. The main wreckage and black boxes have never been found, leaving only fragments and satellite data. The search area is vast, deep, and rugged, one of the most challenging places on Earth. Early missteps and secrecy by officials fueled confusion and conspiracy theories. Every year, families wait for answers, their grief compounded by uncertainty. MH370 is a humbling reminder of our technological limits and the ocean's power to keep secrets. The world is left with a haunting question mark in the sky. For the families, time has not healed the wound. They continue to hope for closure and truth. The mystery of MH370 endures, a silent call for answers from the depths.